Hello, everyone. I want to welcome members of the Milestone family, clients, and our friendly competitors to the Milestone Webinar Series 2017 edition. We like to start off our year talking about trends, so we're kicking off 2017 with what matters in search this year. A few quick notes before we get started, and while we wait for the last-minute attendees to join in. We've muted everyone to avoid any audio disturbance. If you find you have questions as we go through the presentation, you should feel free to ask them using GoToWebinar's chat box, and we can address those questions at the end of the webinar. If time's running tight, we can answer the remaining questions on our blog. Additionally, this webinar is being recorded, and you'll be able to find the video on our blog as well. So without further delay, let's meet the people on the call today. My name's Jake Brennan from Milestone Internet Marketing's Santa Clara office, and I am the moderator for this webinar. Today, I'm fortunate to have two of Milestone's leaders on the line with me here in Santa Clara as well. First up, we have Banu Agarwal, the founder and president of Milestone. Banu is a highly respected expert in digital strategies. She manages our products and technology here at Milestone, and under her leadership, we've launched award-winning websites and software products that help clients succeed. And next, we have Walter Poliska, our VP of Marketing. Walter brings more than 25 years of experience in sales and marketing for enterprise software to Milestone. He oversees our marketing organization and is responsible for both our product marketing and demand generation functions. And without further ado, Walter is going to start us off with some more about Milestone.
Thank you, Jake. Before we jump into the webinar, let's talk a little bit about Milestone. At Milestone, we help drive revenue through digital marketing software and services. Over 20 years, we've helped more than 2,000 companies in the hospitality, retail, and finance industries achieve exceptional results through holistic approaches and through a powerful combination of software and services. We work with some of the most renowned names in the industries that we serve. Most major hotel chains, ownership groups, management companies, independent hotel groups, and retail chains call Milestone a preferred vendor. We work with both upscale and select service hotels, and we offer a similar mix of branded and independent hotels. Some of our top clients include Hyatt, Wyndham Worldwide, SB Hotels, and True Value Hardware. As Jake mentioned, today we're here to talk about major trends that we see affecting our customers during 2017. 2017 will be all about focusing on customer needs, and it'll start with understanding the customer journey, because you need to understand your client behaviors in order to be able to provide best-of-breed services. And understanding your customer journey requires having an omni-channel strategy, because you need to start thinking about the whole process of engaging with your customers, not just the individual components. And of course, to enable omni-channel strategies, we'll need to talk about removing silos and reducing the barriers that prevent you from being able to work as an entire unit, rather than having individual components. 2017 will also continue to see huge changes in technology. Artificial intelligence and machine learning will continue to drive consumer behaviors and change consumer behaviors. We see voice recognition continuing to impact search and digital marketing and will become core components of how you have to react as a digital marketer. Technology will also play a big role in creating magical experiences for consumers. Let's take a look at two examples. Just this month, Wynn Hotels announced that each of the rooms in 2 of their hotels will have Amazon Echo technology by this summer. Consumers will be able to open their blinds, change the temperature in their room, turn on the lights, and control their TV, all with just the sound of their voice. Now, of course, it doesn't take a genius to see that this is only the beginning for them, and that eventually consumers will be able to have a much more interactive experience in their room without ever interacting with people inside the hotel. It's all about creating magical experiences. Airbnb is also focused on creating magical experiences. Last year, they launched their travel guide app that allowed consumers to create personal experiences when they arrive to their destination. For 2017, Airbnb is expanding this to allow an even more personalized, more magical experience by letting consumers book guides that are going to help them create these magical experiences once they arrive at their destination, and be able to book these things before they even leave their home. When you get there, your adventure is waiting for you. So as we look at the critical trends for 2017, we see some key areas related to user behavior and technology. First, mobile usage will continue to grow. So mobile first goes from being a very important factor to being a must-have in your strategy. AMP technology makes mobile better, so AMP will become a critical component of making sure that your mobile-first strategy is successful. We see voice search as pushing the boundaries of search and digital marketing and continuing to challenge us as digital marketers to understand how to better reach our customers. Also in 2017, we feel that having a complete digital presence will become very important. And this will become core and critical, especially as you start to think about your omni-channel strategy and using omni-channel strategies to have a critical marketing success during 2017. Also important in 2017 will be staying on top of your customer funnel and understanding how customers behave through your funnels. And related to your customer funnel, understanding and measuring the customer journey will be a core trend that marketers are going to have to embrace. So now, to talk a little bit about these trends in more detail, let me hand it over to Benu. Benu?
Thank you. Thanks, Walter. Welcome, everyone. I have to say this webinar has always been my favorite speaking for the year, connecting with all of you, all the employees, all the Milestone customers, partners. So thank you for joining. All of us are living online today, and what is the first thing you pick up when you wake up in the morning? A mobile phone. Everybody is living on a mobile. Our buyers' behaviors are changing. According to Google's latest release, almost 60% of queries are coming on mobile. What that means is it is screaming to change the behavior we have. Are we designing for desktop first, or we are designing for mobile first? Are we promoting mobile first, or are we promoting desktop? So let's find out what does it take to increase share of your mobile searches and customer journey. In hospitality alone, we have seen almost 25% increase just coming from mobile. Now, why mobile is growing that rapidly, and what has happened to the customer journey? Mobile has really forever changed our customer journey and fractured customer journey into a small little micro moment of wanting to know, wanted to go, solving problems, need to fly out. Anything customer want, they're going to their mobile devices to get answers for their questions. And as a business, it's really critical that we are giving our customers that rock solid user experience and information, what they are looking for, not what we think they are looking for. So let's find out how can we do that. The most critical thing on a mobile starts with speed. If your presence is not fast, customer is not going to be able to even get to your site or have that micro moment with the information we are giving. And that is why last year, search engine Google launched a tool which is available for anyone, where as a website owner, you can go in and find out what is the speed of your site and what is the mobile usability of your site. In fact, Milestone also leveraged the same API in our tool, and it gives you data for you and your competition last 3 months. A lot of time your mobile speed might be low, not because of anything you have done or you know of, it's because of all the things we have deployed. So it's constantly looking at the speed, using different tools to make sure anything we do on our site or across is not impacting your download time. Number 2 is mobile first index. Last month, Google came out and said that they are really going to first prioritize mobile index rather than the desktop. What that means is information on your mobile site has to be most comprehensive as compared to your desktop site. What that means is we have to first think about designing for mobile rather than designing for desktop, which is really the opposite way we go about designing or dealing with our customers. Now, Google also came out last year and launched accelerated mobile pages. Why did they launch accelerated mobile pages? Is just because of user experience. Users are looking for lightning fast experience. AMP pages sits on Google server. They are 3 times faster than your traditional search. They do deliver really high CTR, and surprisingly, they also beat up TripAdvisor in the search results. So here is the test we had done for one of our customers, where we created AMP pages, and AMP pages managed to go even higher than TripAdvisor. As a business, it's critical to leverage new trends, which is, again, growing fast. When your site has AMP pages, you do get a special symbol which says lightning fast in the search results. I have to say we are one of the very first companies who worked with Google to come up with AMP protocol for travel industry and have done several sites on AMP technology. So once we talk about download time, we talk about AMP and content, let's think about your UI and UX. Your user experience has to be A+. People don't want to scroll for most critical information. In fact, Macy's had done a research that when they removed menu under the hamburger, their conversion dropped 30%. So things which are obvious needs to be clean, crisp. It is a branding exercise, but more important, it's about user experience exercise. Anything you have from phone calls to emails to reservation, anything your customer want and they're looking for in those micro moments, let's give them that information right there. Maybe going to your front desk, maybe asking your customer what information you're looking for on a mobile device, and let's highlight those information on your mobile UI and UX. Now, once you have your download time and UI, UX taken care of, then we can think about comprehensive content, we can think about mobile offer, text ad, your campaigns which are specifically targeted to mobile customers, but the first thing comes in is your comprehensive, your strong mobile presence. And that makes amazing customer journey on a mobile device. Now, once mobile is taken care of, let's look into voice search. Voice search is, after Google and a lot of releases, voice search is really gaining momentum. According to, again, a ComScore release last month, almost 20% of searches coming on mobile is voice search based. And they need to be, they're expecting that it's going to grow up to 50% in 4 years. So that means most of your mobile searches are going to be coming through voice. It is much easier for us to do mobile queries on a voice rather than doing it through text ad. And then most of the queries have local intent. Now let's figure out what can we do as a business to leverage mobile voice search. Most important thing is, let's figure out what are the key attributes we really want to enhance. Let's say you want to enhance pet friendly, or you want to target weddings, or you want to target unique restaurants. Let's enable that information in your knowledge graph. And we are going to talk about knowledge graph a little bit later. Also make sure that information is nicely integrated into Google Map API. Again, if you're a Milestone customer, this information you can provide to your account manager, but really important, look at your USP, provide this information so we can supply this information to all your maps, to all the ecosystem where your customers are going and finding your business. Now, once you have done that, here is the simplest thing, and again, we have done a lot of testing here, which you can do. It's all about conversation. It's all about going back to basic. And what that means is, let's find out what our customers are looking for. Voice search is all about conversation. It's not about keywords only. So let's ask our sales team. Let's ask our PR team. Let's ask concierge, or maybe even front desk, or even a chat team, or a reservation team. What are those 30 things customers are asking all the time, and they cannot find that anywhere? Let's create some actionable content on your site. As we as a marketer, we always put down, here are the services and here are the features we have. Let's enhance it further and say, these are top 10 questions customer has about my location, about my service, about my dining, about my things to do. Now you can take this a little bit further and really dive into voice search. Google has released an API for voice search, and we used Google API for voice search to find out what are customers looking for real time for a hotel, and here we use Hotel Nico as an example, and also as a destination. And again, this information is available to anyone. If you're a Milestone customer, this is a feature. We have it available, and you can find out top 30 question customer asked for your hotel, for your location, for your destination. And let's give them very precise, comprehensive answers. And it's all about getting into that zero position. That zero position, which comes in a snippet box, it's golden for any business because you are solving customers' problem. You are giving them answers for what, why, how query, which gives you higher stickiness, which reduces the bounce rate and gives you much more engagement on the site.
Thanks, Manu. Right now, we'd like to take a moment to hear from you, our listeners. So we've prepared a poll question for you. How do you measure the success of your digital strategies? You can use the dialogue that's on your screen right now to submit an answer. And we'll just give you a few moments. Okay, 5 more seconds. Still coming in. All right. So it looks like the majority are covering their bases. Okay, interesting. Let's go back to Banu.
Awesome. Wonderful. So really, really good information from all of you, and that really helps me go through my other information. For any business, I think key is to have rock solid identity. People ask me all the time that why did we name Milestone as Milestone? Because you cannot really build a strong business until you have strong foundation. And it's the same thing that you cannot have on a web. You cannot have a strong identity until the foundations are not taken care of. And let's figure out what does it take for any business to have strong foundation. It starts with having a strong identity. Now, how do you build a strong identity on the web? It comes from knowledge graph. It helps you rank higher in latest search algorithm. It helps you be there in all the OTAs and everywhere. And that is, again, leads to strong knowledge graph, voice search, machine learning. So let's talk about knowledge graph. What exactly is knowledge graph? Knowledge graph is a knowledge base used by Google to enhance its search engine results. And how Google is doing that, they are using semantic search to get the results into the database, and then they use their machine learning algorithm to show ranking results. Now, their machine learning algorithm is also called RankBrain. And feel free to ask question if I'm getting way too technical here, but promise I'll explain a little bit more in next slide. Okay, so now as a business, what does that mean to you? You have several hundred attributes for your business, starting from hours of operation, or pet friendly, or wedding, or ratings, or price information, or photo gallery, or menus, and list goes on and on and on. And again, if you're a Milestone customer, you probably know everything about schema because we literally go through every single schema out there for hospitality industry, travel industry, and add that on your site. But if you're not, here schema helps you enhance your data in search engine results. It's a type of microdata that makes it easier for search engine to interpret information on your web pages more effectively. And that helps you rank higher, that helps you in getting more relevant results. And end of the day, your identity, if you have strong identity, people are going to find you. And that's really the goal we are trying to accomplish as a business. So right here, your goal is to increase new people who can find your business easily using knowledge graph, using rank brain, using machine learning, all the algorithm which will enable you to get much stronger relevancy and identity on the web. Now, what does all of this leads to? One thing is, how do we establish omni-channel strategy? As Walter talked about, that is truly not about doing work in silos. It's not about our PR agencies anymore. It's not about a print agency, our concierge team, and the front desk team. It's about working with each other to come up with omni-channel strategy. And let me show you how you can put this together. Our customers are juggling between devices all the time, and they are on different social apps every single day. And what that means for business is to ensure that your presence is everywhere, omni-channel, wherever your customer is going. If they're going to Waze, if they're going to Uber, Apple Maps, let's figure out where your customers are, and let's make sure that you have enhanced, consistent presence everywhere. Now, once you have that, then it's also working with each other, working with all the teams to come up with omni-channel strategy. This starts with knowing our personas. And it's, as I said, it's back to basics. When we build any business, we start with target audience. So let's figure out who are your personas. Let's use data to really know if those personas we are targeting really exist. And data can come from Google Analytics. It can come from AdWords and different ways you can find that data. Then let's figure out your paid keywords and organic keywords. These are not two different things. These are really used to leverage one thing. What are those in-market paid and organic keywords which are driving highest conversion or higher search volume? Once you know that, let's look at our competition. Let's figure out where they're messing up, or what are the learnings from them, and let's do some gap analysis. Then let's create your content. And when I talk about content, it's just not content on your website, but also the architecture of your site. And that marries with the content. And once you have that, then let's come up with a promotion strategies, which is gonna embrace your omni-channel strategy. And let me show you how would that work. So let's say if you are a full-service, upscale luxury hotel, and you had a great press release on wedding, luxury wedding. You want to target that on your website, and you also want to make sure your overall conversion for wedding business goes up. Then let's work with a PR company. Let's get that piece of PR which is just released. Let's make sure you create personas in your GA and your AdWords, and create a couple of pages and some really, really engaging content on your site for wedding, ensuring that you have a reason to stay and why wedding should be at your place, and all of that information which will give people reason to book your place for wedding. Then work with your social team to ensure that you have cross-promoting wedding information and reasons to stay or reason to book on social channels. Then let's work with the paid team and ensure that all the paid campaigns are targeting right audience and right reasons and enhancing those USP. Then let's not stop there. Let's also work with local team and organic team and other promotion team and all the different teams within the hotel, within your agency, to ensure that all links from Google Maps and everywhere is pointing towards, is giving you, telling you that why you are such an upscale property for wedding, for dream wedding, and then creating some amazing content, infographics, and maybe getting some authoritative bloggers to write about your destination, your property as a wedding location. And that really comes up with 360-degree omni-channel strategy. And that's why we started with, it will require major breakthrough. It requires a lot of teams to work together, not thinking about the team, but thinking about customer as first and their strategies, and then coming up with this holistic approach. Again, if you're a Milestone customer, you are working with your team, and this is something we are going to be doing it for you. If you are not, then probably a good reason for you to become a customer. But anyway, going back to Walter, and Walter is going to talk about some of my favorite topic, customer journey and conversion funnel.
Thank you, Benu. Those of you that have looked at the Milestone website and our team profiles before attending the webinar probably know that I come from the business intelligence industry. I spent 10 years in the BI industry prior to coming to Milestone. And as a veteran of the BI industry, I'm a big believer in the old adage that you can't change that which you do not measure. And measuring starts with conversion rate optimization. Now, let's start with some definitions. What is CRO? CRO is simply the process of the continuous optimization of how you engage customers and drive them to conversion. It's about adapting to changing user behaviors, whether it's changing how your website looks, changing how people interact with your website. It's about adapting to how your users are behaving and how their behavior is changing. It's also about focusing on the details that have impact. Should the button be blue or should it be yellow? Should the image point to the left or to the right? Should they be above the fold or should images be below the fold? It's really about evolving a process as you learn more about how your consumers interact with you. But CRO is not just about working with your website. It's also about working with your recovery module, chat modules. All aspects of how you interact with your clients can be optimized through CRO. It's about improving an experience and conversion process for your clients. And you can combine CRO with retargeting to learn from non-converting users and figure out ways to re-engage them. At Milestone, for example, we recently conducted a CRO test for one of our clients. The goal was to increase engagement on the wedding part of their site. The test was to put content above the fold and to put imagery below the fold. Now, this was something that went completely against the grain of how people typically create wedding sites. The results were amazing. All the key performance indicators that were important to the client showed dramatic upticks in some cases, and it resulted in higher engagement and higher bookings for the clients. Now, Benu a little bit earlier spoke about omni-channel strategies. But how do you measure an omni-channel strategy? How do you know that it's working? How do you know that everything that you're doing is working correctly? There are a lot of moving parts. Consumers access your sites and engage with you across multiple devices. They might be on a tablet one day, on a laptop another day, or on their mobile device another time. They also engage with you across multiple channels, be they social, your website, paid search, lots of different ways that customers engage with you. And of course, there are multiple stages that your customers will walk through before they actually become customers. According to Google, there are 4 fundamental stages that customers go through: awareness, consideration, engagement, and conversion. In order to successfully measure your omni-channel strategy, you have to be able to measure audience interactions across all 4 stages, regardless of the type of device that the consumer may be using, regardless of the number of visits that they've gone through, and regardless of the channels that they're engaging with, be they organic channels, be they social, be they paid search. To measure your omni-channel engagement, you need to be able to track each segment of the journey. For example, in this example, we're tracking how the conversion stage is being affected by interactions from customers. We can see the impact of organic, paid search, social, across all aspects of my interactions. We can also drill down to see the contribution of each individual source of traffic to that particular stage. with this type of an approach, you can start to measure the value of your efforts, and you can start to understand where the changes are necessary in order to get greater impact from your customer interactions. So as we bring this webinar to a close today, let's talk a little bit about some of the key takeaways. First, as Benu already mentioned a couple of times, it's all about putting your customer at the center. It's about understanding their world and understanding what motivates them and what gets them to want to interact with you. Next, it's about removing internal barriers to make sure that people work together towards common goals. You're not going to be able to implement an omni-channel strategy unless you remove the barriers that prevent people from working together, whether those people are inside your organization or across organizations that work with you. Third, 2017 is the year that mobile is no longer the future, mobile is the present. It should be top of mind. Mobile should be the very first thing that you think of when you think about engaging with your clients. Next, it's all about conversions. And conversion is a moving target that must be continuously optimized. So it's all about making sure that you're always measuring, always changing, always adapting to how consumer behavior is changing. And finally, as I mentioned just a second ago, you cannot change that which you do not measure. So a big takeaway for 2017 is making sure that you have the tools necessary in place to be able to measure how people are engaging with you and to be able to measure how you're successfully impacting your customer journeys. So at this point, we've come to the end of our webinar, and let's open up for any questions that people may have and answer some questions.
Thanks so much, Walter. Thank you, Venu. Yeah, at this time, just go ahead and enter any questions you might have in the GoToWebinar chat box if you need any clarifications on things that we talk about. We've got a question here already. Someone is asking, what's the most critical part of my digital strategy?
I guess I can take this question. So most critical part of your digital strategy is really, it is based on your customers. Who are you trying to target, and how can you come up with a strategy based on what you want? I could say that your critical part of your digital strategy is to come up with a strategy, test it, and then change it if it works or not. Definitely mobile plays a strong role. Definitely voice plays a strong role. Conversion plays a very, very strong role.
Great. Another listener asked, since mobile speed is critical, do we recommend a responsive or adaptive design site?
I would definitely always recommend adaptive. And the reason I recommend adaptive, because adaptive is easier in terms of a download time. Responsive, the reason responsive is a little hard because responsive happens at the client side. If you like any more information, definitely send me an email and I'll be more than happy to explain it further.
Awesome. Another person has asked, how can I reclaim Knowledge Graph if a different company has taken it over?
There are a lot of strategies to reclaim your knowledge graph. I think the key thing starts with making sure your identity on your website is right. So if you have right schemas, you have right footer information. Most authoritative sites are also listing your identity properly. But as I said, it might be different. Feel free to send us information and we can look at it a little bit more. But wherever you have messy knowledge graph, it starts with your website and information out there being very messy.
How can I create a persona on my website?
So you create a persona. The best way to create persona is to go into GA, and you can go into GA, figure out who are already coming to your site. You can also go into AdWords and figure out who you can target, who could be a possible target audience for you. And that will help you come up with persona, because GA is going to give you who is already coming based on age and based on demographic and based on their interest.
Okay, one more question. How do you learn about the customer journey?
How do you learn about customer journey? Is actually the better question to ask would be why customer journey is such a critical part. And the reason customer journey is such a critical part for marketers today is because it is constantly evolving. Our customers don't come to your website as the first thing. They have multiple touch points. And if you can just Google, think with Google customer journey, and it gives you customer journey real time for all the industry. And we were inspired by Google customer journey, and we created the tool which enables you to track your customer journey from start to finish.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Vanu. I think we're pretty much out of time here. Although we have one more question that just came in. Let's see if we can answer it. Should I combine responsive with adaptive design or not?
Well, let's think about your customer. It's not about responsive or adaptive. What are your customers looking for? Responsive and adaptive is just two different versions of technology, but you could combine both of these to come up with the right design. Just make sure the site you do it has really good speed. It is lightning fast. It gives customer what they want on the device type they are on.
Awesome. Thanks again. I think we're pretty much out of time here. So folks, just keep your eyes on your email for our upcoming webinars, Customer Journey and the Conversion Funnel, Omni-channel Strategies, and Conversion Optimization are coming up on the horizon. And you guys can follow us on Facebook or on Twitter. We are at Milestone MKTG on Twitter. And make sure you check out our blog. We'll be posting up a video of this webinar so that you can share it with anybody you'd like. All right, thanks so much. Have a great day, everyone.